What's cooking, New Ulm? I'm Rebecca Fleisar, the dietitian with the Heart's Beat Back Heart of New Ulm project, working to reduce and eventually eliminate heart attacks in the 56073 zip code. All right, so tonight I have a little bit of a different recipe. Oftentimes I get asked about different protein sources. How can I make things taste different? I'd like to try some of these new foods, but I don't know how. I'm going to answer all of those tonight. All right, so we're going to have a wrap. And in that wrap, we're going to use tofu. Tofu is a soy-based product, and that's going to be our protein source. So lots of times we've heard about people eating tofu in different kinds of salads, but we weren't quite brave enough to give it a try. Well, tonight I'm going to show you how to make it very simply. You can modify things just a little bit to your own taste, and you're going to find you can get a strong protein base without being afraid of the tofu. Now, when we talk about protein, one of our barriers is cost. Tofu is actually pretty reasonable. You know, the number of portions you're going to get out of a block of tofu is pretty high for the $3.50 or $4 you might pay for this block. All right, so 2 to 3 ounces, just like a meat portion, is going to be 1 serving of tofu. So with this, we're going to spice it up just a little bit with a Thai peanut sauce. Again, Thai peanut sauce is going to have a little bit of a kick to it. It has some Asian spices in there, but it's going to have a definite peanut flavor to it. Now, this is one way that you can get a little extra protein, very low carbohydrate. You can get that in there without adding a lot of calories. I do want to give one caveat to this. If you're watching your sodium very closely, this does still fall into a good heart-healthy diet, but if that's something you're going to watch carefully, the peanut sauce is a little bit higher than sodium than some of our other foods. A way to avoid that now would be switch it out for regular peanut butter. You're not going to have that extra kick, but you're going to get a nice protein base, great flavor, and you're going to still stick with this recipe. Now, the gift of tofu is it really doesn't have a lot of flavor. Now, you can get flavored tofu, but this is plain, and it's a firm. You can get extra firm or soft. This is firm tofu, and it's really going to absorb the other flavors of the food. So basically, we're going to be having some peanut butter flavored tofu tonight. Now, when you think about these things, so far you're thinking, all right, these already sound a little bit strange. Well, we're going to make it a little bit more strange than that. The first vegetable we're going to put in here is going to be red pepper. So we're going to just cut that up a little bit. We're going to put some nice slices in there. Remember, whenever we use a red pepper, we quarter that out. Make sure we leave those seeds behind. Let's get that stem out of there. There we go. Okay. Now, you're going to do this to taste. If you're not... You don't have to saturate the wrap with these. Now, I am going to talk a little bit about wraps too, because I get plenty of questions for those. I'm going to answer them for everyone here tonight. Get everybody's questions answered at one time. Okay? So I'm going to put quite a few of these. I like the flavor of the red pepper, something that I have acquired. I didn't used to like it, but the more you eat these foods, you know, the more your palate starts to enjoy them. So I'm going to put in about half of a pepper. And with this then, I'm going to throw in some really great sugar snap peas. Who doesn't love these? They're the perfect snack. They're nice and crispy, perfect texture. We're going to put those in there too. Now, my little display on wraps. This is going to be a low carbohydrate, very high fiber wrap. Now, when you look at the back of the label on some wraps, you'll see that they're 18 grams of carbohydrate, and you think, does that fit in my diet? How am I counting that as a diabetic? Now, this one actually has 12 grams of fiber. So your ingestible carbohydrates are only 6 grams, which are extremely low. So that's a great idea if you're looking to increase your fiber. Remember, we're looking for that 25 to 35 grams per day. Or if you're looking to decrease your overall carbohydrate intake, you're counting carbohydrates for diabetes. All of those things are important when we're looking at our wraps. Always take the time to check your food label. There's some wraps that are very high in fat, very high in carbohydrates, and low in fiber. That's not something that's going to fit in our heart-healthy diet. All right, so I have a whole wheat wrap, very high in fiber, low fat, low carbohydrate. That's the base. In here, I'm simply going to put in my peppers on one side. The next thing I'm going to do is, let's go ahead and put in our tofu. So, you know, tofu just cuts up. It's very soft, easily. You could cut this with a butter knife if you wanted. I'm going to put in about 2 to 3 ounces. Get it into some nice small chunks, put it right in there with it. As I mentioned, I really like the sugar snap peas, so I'm going to add a bunch of those in there. Put them right in top, and then I'm going to pour this Thai peanut sauce right over the top of this. Sounds like a crazy combination, but I'll tell you what, this is one good meal. Now, when I look at the overall calorie intake of this, I'm only at about 250 calories because I chose a heart-healthy wrap. I'm choosing a low-fat tofu, high protein, and of course our vegetables have very few calories. So this is going to be very filling, very heart-healthy, and very low in calories. We're going to wrap it together, and this is ready to eat. All right, easy enough. And that's our first recipe for tonight's episode. Welcome back to What's Cooking. Our second recipe tonight is a salad. Now, when we think of salads, our first thought is lettuce. Our second thought is something that's mayo-based, like a potato salad or macaroni salad. And yet, a true salad can have any vegetables in it that we want. Now, we used the red pepper, the sugar snap peas, and the peanut sauce for our first recipe. I want to carry those foods over. So now you've invested in this Thai peanut sauce. What are you going to use it for besides your wraps? Well, let's take a look at this recipe. Now, you could, like I said, you can throw anything together, but what I want to use is some broccoli because it's going to be great for our vitamin K. I'm going to use some radishes, carrots for vitamin A. We're going to get those sugar snaps, we're going to get those peppers, and we're going to mix this all together, and we're going to top it with our peanut sauce. This is a great salad, and you can make it any way you want. It's quick and easy, and yet you're going to have a lot of different flavors with this one. We need to remember we're going to expand our horizons. We're going to try new foods, and we're going to combination some things together. The worst part of it, eating healthy is if you have a lot of waste or you're not using those spices or condiments that you're finding for one recipe, you're investing in them, and then they end up going to waste or thrown away because you never use them again. Finding multiple uses is one of the key principles of sticking with a heart-healthy intake to make sure we're doing the best we can for our heart health. All right, so I'm just going to break this broccoli up. Remember, this is something that we're just going to use as an easy salad on the side. It doesn't have to be cut fancy. We don't have to do anything too dramatic to it. We're just going to break off these stalks. You know, there's a lot of nutrients right here in this stalk too. Sometimes I like to have it as a little snack. Obviously, it doesn't work that great in a salad, but if you want to have that, there's still plenty of nutrients for you in there as well. Get off some of these bigger pieces. Okay, easy enough. We already have the base of our salad created. So instead of having a lettuce, our base is broccoli. The next thing I want to do is to taste, I'm going to add in some carrots. I'm going to add great color here. Changing up our nutrient profile again. Maybe a few more. All right, so now we need to add a little bit more color. Let's go back to the red. I'm going to cut up, move that for you. Just cut up some small pieces of radish. Radishes are always available, they're always low cost, and they always taste great. Maybe not as used as much as we think, where we could use them. You know, in the summer when our garden grows, we tend to take in a lot more radishes, but if you look in your grocer, these were already cleaned. They've been cut, roots off, stems off, and easy to use. Radishes have a very distinct flavor. We all know that. They get a little bit hot the more we eat. Throw those into your dish. It's going to have a nice crispy flavor. All right, a couple more of those, I guess. No measurements needed. Just going by color and how we think this is going to taste. The only thing that we'll be measuring out for this recipe will be our Thai peanut sauce. Now, we're not using a lot, and therefore the sodium level that I had discussed earlier is really going to be dispersed. Not a concern with this recipe. This is going to make plenty of portions. The peanut sauce is just going to add a little bit of extra flavor. So by the time you break that down into your 4 to 6 portions from this recipe, there's really no concern. You're going to be at 100 milligrams of sodium, which is perfect. That fits into our low, very low sodium diet. All right, last thing, we've got a couple more. I think I'm going to throw in these sugar snaps just because, as I mentioned, I really enjoy those. Put in a few extra. I'm going to add some pepper in there. Quarter it out. Easy enough. Get rid of those seeds. I'm going to julienne these. If you want to dice them, you're welcome to do that as well. All right. maybe I'll cut those a little bit smaller. As I mentioned so often, the best tool to have in your kitchen is a very sharp knife. These clean cuts, I don't have to do any kind of sawing or anything that's going to cause extra pressure being put down or put any extra risk on my hands. All right, let's toss them in. You know, when you bring something to a potluck or a family dinner, we oftentimes find that we bring unhealthy foods. You know, this is going to be a low-cost recipe, and it's going to be something that's going to be appealing to everyone. So many of our family members are now becoming more conscientious of what they're eating, and they want to go to these things and enjoy the food as well. By bringing something that's good and heart healthy, low cost, with great flavor, it's something that people ask for you to bring again and again. Changing a habit is important, and this is one of those habits that can be easily changed. Sometimes I hear that potlucks or family gatherings are special occasions and therefore they require us to bring something unhealthy and celebrate. But remember, the more we can get together with our family, the better. And the best way to do that is stay healthy, make good food choices, and make good food choices for your family as well. All right, so we've got quite a bit in there. You can see just in that small amount of time, we've made quite a big salad. I'm going to toss that around a little bit, get those all mixed up. All right, now all we need to add is our Thai peanut sauce. And drizzle that over the top. Now, if you find this recipe online, you're going to see that there's an orange oregano dressing that goes with this as well. You're welcome to give that a try. I just like to find those ways that we can continue to use the same foods that we have purchased already, again, in our cooking repertoire. All right, and there you go. This is a great salad. Very heart healthy, brings in a lot of different color, a lot of different flavors, and you're going to really enjoy this. Try to change that habit. Don't always bring the unhealthy dessert or the cheesecake to the family gathering. See if you can start to be the one that they can rely on to bring the heart healthy dish. Make you and your family feel a little bit better. And that's it. That's this week's episode of What's Cooking New Ulm. I'm Rebecca Fleiser. I'll see you next week.